Okay. Excellent. I'm all set up. Ready. Kanji was fed. Everything is good. We're here to make some tacos. I'm excited to make some tacos. I'm hungry. Starting later is nicer because I'm able to get home and set things up a little easier, but the dinner's a lot later than we usually have. Which, it's probably better that way, so we're not stressing out. So today, we are making Tombstone Tacos from the game Battle Chef Brigade. The light wants to play nice with me. The light looks a little darker than I expected it to. Give me one. I was setting things up and goofing around, so let me change that real quick. See if that behaves itself a little better. Whoop. There's just no light above here. So Battle Chef Brigade. This is the version this physical copy is the version that got released on limited run games. I really enjoyed the game and picked it up, so I have a nice copy. It came with that. I got this nice little apron with it, so I'm all set there. The game is all about cooking. You play as Mina, trying to get into the Battle Chef Brigade. And there's a series. It's essentially a game where you go out, fight enemies, and then you go ahead and make your meals. The food art in this game is beautiful and very inspiring for me. It is definitely one of the games that inspired me to push myself a little bit with matching how things look in the game, because a lot of games are kind of lackluster with their food art, but Battle Chef Brigade definitely takes it to a different level. So I'd highly recommend if you like light puzzle fighting games. I really enjoyed it. The story is very fun. The art is very pretty. So yeah. With this recipe, you get to make every part of your taco, kind of. We will be making the tortillas because they need to be blue in shade. So at first I was worried I was not able to find the exact blue corn meal before. This is a corn flour, so it's probably going to be a little different. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this behaves itself and functions the same. If it doesn't, I'll know quick-ish, and I'll use non-blue cornmeal. Also, hello Crow, hello Pelly, everyone who's here so far, and Jeff, hello. So the first thing I need to do, and I need to get started, is the tortillas. They're not too complicated. We will be making the flour, mixing it up, and then letting it rest for like 30 minutes. When that's happening, we will then start making the guacamole. It's a very different kind of guacamole. It's a roasted poblano and tomatillo one, and it's very good. Yes, and I need to be not lazy and make them more often. So I have just some white flour. So this is a mixed flour and corn tortilla. Kind of have them both in there. So I do have white flour. I was switching out my container, so I did that there quickly. And in here, I'm going to mix that and the rest of my spices. So I have 2 cups. And if you're interested, the recipe, this should work. Thank you. My little bot behaving itself. I will be following that. I know I made this when I made the recipe a while ago, so it's been a bit. It has worked, because I've seen someone else, I think someone from the Adult Swim team, the day I released this, because this came out for one of their big updates where they added an additional character that was playable and all that fun stuff. So Ziggy, our undead chef. All right, 2 cups of flour. I need to get a 1/2 cup of this. If you are unable to find blue cornmeal. You can replace it with a regular colored cornmeal, and that should function the same. I'm hoping this works. It has a very similar consistency to what... It's a little lighter than the cornmeal, so I think this will make it less gritty. I think. So for this, I need half cup. And now I'm going to have to find a bunch of uses for this, because this has like a shelf life of 2 months, 3 months. I was kind of surprised for a package to be that light. Okay. Have that, and then I need some baking powder. Which this container I think I used this the last time I streamed, and I was like, it's running out. But I do have a replacement there. Try and get it all. Or none of it. There really is none in here. The WoW... It's... So I haven't played WoW in a while. And I do have a friend that does. And they do a good job of like, hey, there's these recipes. But I haven't done one. I want to say at least 4 years. It does become a little more difficult to make recipes when I'm like, oh, I'm not really playing the game. So it's a little difficult to convince myself. But if people are requesting them, I definitely can take a look at them and take a stab at them. Now I do know the corn muffins. I did make corn muffins for the Fallout cookbook. There is a World of Warcraft cookbook. I have it over there. But I don't know. Do those have that? It's been a bit. There's a few recipes I've made in there. I haven't made the... I'm not sure what recipes are in there. Now, in these, I'm adding a little bit of cayenne. Ziggy likes his food spicy, so it's like, why not? Let's do that. Okay, so there is... I know a lot of the... Obviously, I think the book is probably 4 or 5 years old. Maybe a little more than that. So any newer recipes that have been added to the game aren't in there. And as I've mentioned, not keeping up with any of WoW. I wouldn't know which ones are there. Also, hello, Opie. How are you this evening? Putting garlic powder in there. Plop. Just getting a little bit of extra flavors. I've had a lot of people ask me if I was going going back and trying WoW Classic. I was like, no. I played WoW when it was in Classic mode. I don't want to go back to that. Definitely thing of the past. Let's make sure I put everything in here. I got flour. I got the cornmeal. I got the salt. 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. And the cayenne pepper. So now I'm going to take, I have a 1/4 cup of butter, which is typically a half stick, 4 tablespoons, however you want to measure that. Oh my gosh. I love experimenting with guacamoles now and being like, what can I add in here that is going to be good? And this one is nice. It plays real nicely with the rest of the ingredients. I should note one thing I am changing in this recipe, just because I wanted to change it up this evening and make sure that my husband can eat. Instead of it being beef, I did replace it with turkey. It's going to cook the same, just going to be a little bit different flavor-wise. So, I didn't want to get stuck with another leftover that I would just have to eat myself. So I've given that a quick whisk. I'm going to cut the butter. Also, I've been eating too much red meat and I feel like I don't need that right now. But I really wanted tacos and I really wanted these and I was like, we could get away with using turkey, ground turkey instead. Use the biggest knife to cut the butter. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, there are a few recipes on my site where traditionally it has the ground beef. I think I have a bolognese sauce there where I'm like, I really don't feel like red meat, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the... going to go ahead and switch that out and use turkey instead. I almost grabbed the ground Beyond meat that they had at the grocery store, but I was like, I don't want to risk that on stream. Because I was like, ugh. Definitely had the team behind this game like tweeted out, and I was like, oh, if that really goofed up, that would not be fun. So all I'm doing now is I'm kind of mixing the butter in with my hands. Oh, got too hot. Mixing it in just to make sure it's incorporated. Course, you want it to look like course meal. So we're just mixing it in until it's like incorporated. We're not looking for it to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for, we don't need it to be like a pie crust where everything needs to be cold constantly. It's just, once it's done, it's done. So, I've had both Impossible and the Beyond products. I had a friend that brought a bunch of them, and I've been in meaning to, because my local grocery store just recently started carrying, they have Beyond sausages and ground meat. And I'm like, I really want to, and I really would like to try this and try cooking with it at home. Now, everywhere I've had it, I'm like, yeah, no, I wouldn't have been able to tell. Like, if someone did not tell me, I would not know. Which it is exciting that like bigger places like Burger King and stuff are trying it out and putting it on menus to see how if people are gonna like it. I think once bigger companies get into it, that means more money and more research will get done. Okay. Yeah, that's the kanji way. Hey, kanji. Get on here. Stay over here. The people expect you. Relax. See you. No. The littlest part of kanji. Heck yeah. Actually, how much of a... Because I haven't looked at Burger King. I've had it at other places. How much of a price difference is it to get an Impossible over the regular Whopper? Jeff, the camera crew, coming in, making sure we all get our kanji. Let's see. Combine that. Add the cubed pieces of butter using your hands. Combine the butter with dry ingredients until it resembles a course meal. Add the water, canola, and the blue food dye all at once. Yes, Harry. You're a mod and you subbed, but yes. Harry, you know you'll get banned even from the house. I want my water to be warm, so I'm going to let that run a little bit so it gets... You got a double yes on that one. And of course, the joy of like a black apron and flour, it's gonna get everywhere. So I want 3/4 cup of water. 1 tablespoon of the oil, more fat in here. And now this step's optional. I am going to be adding blue food coloring, and the main reason I add it is to get it to look a little more like the game image. But if you don't want to use food coloring, don't use it. It is just for the visual. It is just so it matches the game a little more. I mean, that's not bad. That's not a bad difference, because I know some places with it definitely. I'm trying to think, but the price difference is at Hot Dotty. That's my point. The place that I've been to that has it, the Impossible at least. Should keep in mind where my flour is, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this as my hands get real messy. I think the biggest thing with a lot of those like plant alternatives right now is they are more expensive than regular meat. I think if we were to hit a point where the price is less, I could be convinced in that to switch my diet completely and not eat meat anymore. Because there are a lot of reasons not to. Because I'm like slamming the bowl down. Now, right away, the thing I get hit with smell-wise, probably could have added a little more of the dye, but that's fine. Right away, as I added the water, I get hit with the smell of garlic, which is wonderful. Only 75 cents more. Okay. I think that's gone down. I feel like it used to be like $2 more or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Yeah. Oh, that's a big difference, Jeff. $4.75. $4 for to switch the patty out. It's that much more. I mean, I'm still sad they switched out the tuna burger. They had this wonderful tuna burger. Really, Kanji? You're giving everyone your butt? $4.75. Oh, yeah, it's definitely. Is that that's not the difference between like that burger versus every other one. Anyway, back to the tuna burger. So before they had a tuna burger where it was a slice, like an inch thick piece of ahi tuna. That's still the same. But the difference is how they dressed it. It used to have like wasabi things and mayo and a sheet of nori and scallions, and it was real good. Like I have a tuna burger on my site that's very close to it, like what it used to be. It's kind of inspired by that because I really liked it. And they've changed it completely. It's not as nice. Cursed closed caption. I think you could change things. I don't know. Hi, Lemon Drop. How are you this evening? Kanji's really antsy today. Okay, here we go. This is set. If your dough is feeling too wet or too dry, feel free to add more flour, add more water, whatever you need. Just do it in small portions. This is fine. I am using a different brand than I used on the site before, and it looks good. I am doing extremely well. I'm already hungry, which is bad. We got a little bit ways to go. Alright. I'm transferring it to a floured countertop. Look at me not listening to my own rules. I've moved it, but that's not floured. Why do I say that? And need. I was kneaded in the bowl, so we're fine. Actually, it's not sticking, so I don't need to flour the countertop. It is blue. It is to match the game image. We're making blue tacos. Well, blue tortillas. Also, hello, Sam. Sam today was... Wait. Oh my gosh, you both have pink names. So I have to keep that. Oh my gosh, those poster things? Yeah, I could see it. Jeff, you got any posters you want to hang up? Back like in the college days? It's fun being an adult and being like, well, now I have these nice posters that are framed. less nerdy. Yeah, so I have that. I need to split these into 50 grams each is what I did. Is he just hiding? It's like soon all will be eaten. Here's I still haven't bought batteries for my measurer, so I have to keep using Jeff's. Things you'll learn if you get a dog, you'll buy them beds, but they will not sit on them. They will sit around them. It's 665 divided by 50. This is gonna give me 13. Can I math? No. Why am I attempting to math? 75. 69. Nice, but not what we want. 59. 48. Kanji's always judging and always angry and never happy. Unless there's food involved. Then he's kind of happy. Because the food goes away and then he's still hungry. Such is the way of Kanj. Is this true, Kanji? What a good boy. Boop. Okay. This is the nice slow process of me just slowly weighing it out. Now, if you don't have a measuring thing, I'd recommend getting one. But if you don't, just go ahead and eyeball it. If it's not exact, that's fine. Oh, Nietzsche-chan, how are you this evening? 7. Close. So, it's not completely, like I mentioned earlier, it's not completely the blue cornmeal that does it. If I use just the blue cornmeal, it'll look more purpley. But it is blue. My tortilla doughs are blue to match the image in the game. That's something I should do is instead of my logo, I should put whatever game image I'm doing that day. Future thoughts. That would be the smarter thing to do. Actually, that's something I could probably maybe add, but I have too many scenes to do that. Yak cheese. That's definitely something that would be specialized. I wonder if there's a place here. Wonder who, yeah, is there like any specific stores that it's looking like it would be? Find a yak and make the cheese. That's always one of the trickier things with like coming up with recipes is sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. I'm lucky enough that I live in a large metropolitan area and I could like get pretty unique ingredients for specific dishes, and I know some people don't. So I'm always playing that balance game of like, what craziness should I include, or when should I like tone it back a little bit? Now, I'm definitely more willing to be like, yo, here it is. This is a little different. Go find your local different stores and try and figure it out. Now, I understand in smaller communities, you're not going to be able to. Thanks, Kanji. Goodbye, Kanji. If you live in a smaller city, it's going to be a little more difficult, but there are some ingredients that you definitely can, pantry safe ingredients that you can find on things like Amazon and get that shipped out. But I know one of my goals always is to kind of push people to look at a grocery store that they might not figure out other cultures and whatnot. Everyone with the blue taco. Yes, we're making some blue taco shells in the game. I'm matching the game image, and that's gonna be the main question this evening. But yes, it is to match the game image and make sure that we're doing that. As I mentioned earlier, the blue food dye is completely optional if you don't want it and you're just going to use the corn. Okay, these are going to be smaller. Don't add the blue food dye. It'll be... Blue corn, in my eyes, is more purpley, so we'll go with that. This is true. I don't... What other... I guess you could dye your sour cream and maybe the guac if you want. So those are set. I am going to the cover with a damp paper towel and allow it to rest for 30 minutes. So let me do that. And while we're doing that, we will work on the guac. Guac, guac, guac. For some reason I feel like buffalo milk would be easier to find. I do have a friend at work that's made their own cheese, so that's always a possibility. Yeah, it's a weird balance to be like, well, I want to get this close, but I also do want some people to make them. Like, there are recipes on my site that people should absolutely not make. Are there blue buffaloes? Isn't that Buffalo Bill's friend? Doesn't he have a big old blue buffalo? Or is that a Knox? Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna put this here in my pocket so I have the towel. There. Now I have ease of access. And dough on the floor. Blech, blech. I am thinking of Paul Bunyan. Thank you, Jeff. Looking out. Blue Buffalo is the pet brand. Definitely don't have any Blue Buffalo stuff here right now. I think we've gotten treats and stuff, but that's not the brand of food that we feed Kanji. Oops. So yeah, recipes I would not recommend making on my site because I was crazy. Lucio O's. Don't do it. There is a Fallout recipe on my site. I think it's the Meyerlurk omelet. Don't do it. There's a reason why that's not in the book. Combination of like a cheese sauce and like weird apple onion thing. No, 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 no. Remember to put that timer on. Right. Should have rinsed all of this beforehand. I don't need the jalapeno yet, and I don't need that. Yeah, don't do that one. Don't do that recipe. One tomatillo. Big note about a tomatillo, it is not a green tomato. A tomatillo is a different thing. I just wrote about this. Which is funny because I think at a grocery store I have more often seen tomatillos than over the green tomatoes. One has this nice little like protective coat around it. The other one just a big old green tomato. Utilized differently. Heck yeah, yeah. Hopefully find something delicious to go with the rum. Jeff? That was definitely our, how do we made this, and it's kind of a joke, but, oh, it's not good. Pop. Put that poblano down. Oh, I need garlic. We did with that recipe. It was one of those like, let's get real funky. And I'm like, no. No, 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 no. I'm gonna need more garlic after this. But this is for this section. Agreed. And I think that's why I've been very happy that I've done my food blog and stuff, because it forces me to do very weird things and thinking outside that box where I'm like, okay, this is what the game wants. It's gonna get me halfway there. So let me work around that and make it a recipe that actually can work. I clearly can't buy like dragon meat in a place. How can I switch this up? I think then it would work. I think the part that was the apples. The apples is the part that made it real funky. You know what? It definitely made it taste like something out of Fallout. That's for sure. I think the closest thing... I switched it up in the book. I have the... What are they called? I think it's the Death Claw. I did the Death Claw omelet instead. Because unfortunately with the book we couldn't do New Vegas stuff. So... Are you anti-ketchup in general? Like, I've heard people with like anger. Sorry, I'm from Chicago, so there's always anger about putting ketchup on a hot dog. That's a thing. But I've not heard people angry about the eggs. No, see, that's not fair. If you get omelet rice, it usually has ketchup on it. The poor, poor Obsidian game. Oh, I guess that's true. I wouldn't consider Say, I have ketchup right here, because we're going to need that for the recipe today. It is sweet, but not as sweet as an apple. Right. I need to turn my broiler on. So, I have a large poblano that I should have cut in half. Look at the picture, Vicky. You don't even have to read the recipe. Just look at the picture and match. So I have to be careful because I don't have any plastic gloves. When you are working with peppers, do not touch your hands. Even if it's a poblano, it's not going to be super spicy. Don't rub your eyes. It's dangerous. Be careful of the seeds. I completely remove the seeds. If you want your guac to have a little bit more of a spice, leave it in. Again, poblanos aren't the spiciest of peppers, but the seeds will still give it a kick. We also will be using a jalapeno in the meat itself. My way of trying to avoid touching the seeds. I usually don't have ketchup in the house. It is not... Oh, those are very low. It is not an ingredient that's typically used here. Then again, I will if I'm at a restaurant and there's like they give you ketchup with your fries. I'm dunking. I ain't gonna lie. I'm dunking. The correct choice is honey with sweet potato fries. Talk about sweet. Bad food decisions. Garlic mayo, that sounds like good stuff. Biggest pro tip I'll give you with a burger, combine them all. Ketchup, mustard, and mayo. So I'm not using some fish. I'm using, this is a It is a beef. No, it's usually a beef one. I'm using turkey today. I don't think you can get salmonella from that, but yeah. Thousand Island sauce. Yeah, basically, right? Let's put this back on. Whoop, whoop. Please. Yeah. Hopfields. Is that a burger place? Hey, I get it. sometimes, hey, if it works and it's delicious, why not? Alright, that's doing its thing. I'm gonna get my... There you go. If it works, it works. And if it's cheaper, hell yeah. Hey, Chef Babylon. Oof. If you all enjoy cooking streams, Chef Babylon's another member of the Bone In team. I'd highly recommend giving him a follow. If I could figure out how to connect my my food processor. Let me see if I can get this to work. Thank you, bot. Bot's doing its job. This is oh. You know what? Sometimes not having the top connected would help. Ta-da! Just put everything in. Food processor. I love it. Bar right next to Via 313. Is that the Via 313 we go to, or the one? There's a few, right? I am doing wonderful. How are you today? French-inspired food. Ooh. French-inspired food. Yes, please? Kanji decided he was too good for stream today. I do owe Kanji a treat because I noticed last night after I stopped streaming that Hamlock subscribed. But I don't know if he's here. So Kanji gets rewarded with a treat. Vodka and shrimp hangover. That sounds like an oops, but like a delicious oops. Ah, there he is. Hamlocks. Kanji. You want a treat? You get that sub treat. Now he comes back. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You gotta back up. Can you get on your bed? Today we will give Kanji a wonderful little minnow. That'll be what we start. These treats are silly because they're just freeze-dried minnows. Actually, maybe this camera will be better. Hold on. Little fishies. Little fishies. There you go, Kanji. Heck yeah. Thank you so much for using a sub on me. I appreciate it very much. Kanji does too in his... Each sub helps Kanji get treats. The joys of Kanji. There's a benefit to these streams and you sitting there. You get paid. Kanji's like, what do you want? Kanji is not starving, Jeff. No, he's not. Because I told him he could get a treat. That's why he came back. Good boy, Kanji. Let's see. Nope. Still waiting for that to get all nice and broilered. No. These tacos will make Kanji very farty. Probably. I assume. Isn't that where everyone enjoys their treats? They go to bed and just have the treat shelf just right next to you. Delicious. Pally Manis, thank you so much for the sub. Lots of love. And Kanji, you get another treat. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. More treats for Kanji. Look at him, like, look intensely. Ready? There you go, Kanji. Thank you so much for that. Both Kanji and I appreciate it very much. Did that little thingy work? Yeah, it did. My little sub counter. I figured if I'm going to have little goals for myself to make sure I'm making progress. So when we hit 5, the next cooking stream, Kanji will have a bigger treat. That is the goal. Hey, he takes it. Kanji knows his role. He's the breadwinner in the house. Ugh, I'm gonna turn that around. I'll switch this so we could get a view of that once they come out. Boop. I'm assuming transfer all of that into there first. You sitting with your buckies? Something I could be doing is preparing for the drive safe. Yeah, hopefully I'll be around at least for another hour for sure. Drive safe. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the sub. I greatly appreciate it. Have a safe trip home. Gotta hit them checkpoints before you start driving, just to be safe. Safety first. Oh, all I have to do with the... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Onion, garlic. I have the onion, the jalapeno. I need garlic. Hopefully that's, yeah. Woo! 1, 2, 3. 4. It's okay to add a little extra. Let's see. Jeff, we're doing a good job with all the leftovers that we had. And getting rid of them. I cooked so much this weekend that today I haven't cooked since Sunday, which is unusual for me. I usually cook every day, so I kind of had a meal prep-ish weekend. So everything nice, charred. Something I am. I'm gonna do with the poblano peppers. I am gonna remove the skin because something I've learned recently is you should not be eating that. Because I've learned skins of poblano peppers are actually a little more difficult to digest. There's nothing like completely wrong with them. I've had them. It's just after realizing that I was like, oh, okay, whoopsies. Guess we don't want that. What I'm going to do... I'm going to wait for that to cool off a little bit before I get down with that. So for now, I'm going to prep my garlic, all my veggies for the ground turkey meat. Usually beef, but we're swapping that up. Get chippy chop. So one thing with garlic, it's not too bad to cut, but it's just, it can take time. I never buy the pre-chopped up or grounded up or any of that. It's just, I do find it relaxing to kind of chop it. Just something to be like, woo! There are times, as you can see, I've gotten the like pre-peeled one because I'm just like, I know you're more expensive, but I don't want to deal with cleaning up a bunch of garlic. Big ol' floof ball. Kanji gets that way too. We'll we do a self-wash for him. So we'll go to a pet store. It's about like $10. we'll rub them down. But it's after like the vacuum stuff is just like, oh hello, you're pretty poofy. I think the one time we took him to the groomers once. Kanji, please, you're on stream. We took him to the groomers once, and he was like double his size. Yes, Kanji's grooming himself, taking care of himself. Garlic. Okay, this is good enough to handle. If your poblano pepper is not good enough to handle, don't burn yourself. Don't be silly. I just have hands that are basically calloused because of cooking. Whoop. Whoop. There's technically more actions happening over there right now. Switch to stove, and kanji. And this is like super reflective. There we go. We'll block the. So yeah, if you roast or put poblano under a broiler, it'll typically be pretty easy to remove the skin. It kind of like lifts off from it. A lot of times when I'll do poblano, I'll just put it on a burner and roast it up that way. That method, I typically will wrap it in like aluminum foil so it kind of steams on itself. Under the broiler, it seems like it was a lot just easier to swap it out. Okay. Da-da-da. Whoop. That tomatillo was very hot. But not too hot. I'm still fine. Everything's good. Swap back. Man. Heck yeah. Buttons. Buttons. No rain, no puddles, no water whatsoever. Kanji's pretty good. He hates baths, but if it's storming out, which is it's a good thing that he's used to this, he'll go for his walks. He's fine with it. We have a friend who has a dog, and that dog just, if it rained 5 hours ago, no way. Not going outside. Not, absolutely not. He will not wet his balls. There's no way. I'm gonna mute so that this doesn't make too much noise to you guys. I'm gonna pulse this until it's basically smooth. So, mute it. I'm gonna have to go. Got punched in the face there. Gonna go ahead and scrape it down. Then repeat this once again. Doesn't want to deal with it. Speedrun strats, not a fan of. I mean, I get it. And yeah, I consider us very lucky that Kanji will tolerate it. He tries to make escapes. The great Kanji escapes. But so I'm gonna knock on wood. It's been a weirdly like mosquito-less year here, which is odd. Now, well, it's been dry for a bit. There's been some rain, but we still haven't. I feel like compared to most years, it's been. Now, Maybe because after Harvey, they like bombed everything with mosquito repellent. Maybe all the populations are like really low, which I'm fine with. Need that. What else do I need? Recipe, hello. I think I need lime, garlic, cilantro. So it's like blocking that. So because Kanji's lucky enough to go to work with us, he does have a bed there, and everyone walks by and is like, "I wish that was me." I'm like, I get it. I wish that was me too right now. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna go ahead and take the delicious, delicious avocado and transfer it to this bowl. Just talking with some friends because we were looking at like a new breakfast place that opened up. And it's like, oh, they have avocado toast, and it was like a pretty sad avocado toast, but it was like $6. I'm like I get it. Avocado is expensive, but at $6 you could get 2 avocados, a whole loaf of bread, and you probably could add eggs onto that. It's just wild. And we were talking about, I guess restaurants have recently started to like, because of the price of avocado, using something else that's similar to avocado. Okay. I know. It is. I was just kind of shocked because for it to be down here in a like small part of Houston, and I was like, okay, come on. We are lucky. These avocados are large. They did have like this. The smaller ones are always a trap because they'll be a little cheaper. So this is the giant one that I had to buy because the smaller ones, I feel like the seeds are twice the size, so you end up getting a lot less meat, even though they're cheaper. To buy more of them. But yeah, being in Texas, we do it. The price difference is ridiculous. Because I remember going Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, so I visited a few times. And like going to the grocery stores up there, I'm like, oh, that's right. Avocado, you're like almost double the price. Yeah, there is that benefit for sure. Oh my gosh, please. $16 for grapes. I mean, yeah, when you're in the middle of the ocean and you need everything to kind of be imported in, that definitely makes a bit of a difference. Oh, and all of these are so nice. Look, oh my gosh. I got real lucky with all these avocados. I think the saddest thing is when you have an avocado and you open it and it's like, oh, this is all black. What happened? Why did this happen? So, depending. The small avocados, I've seen them for, let me think about today. They were 92 cents per avocado. The bigger ones, I think were like $2.80 or $2 something for each big one. A Nina Watch cookout. The next time she does like a group meetup, I would definitely love to be there and be able to participate in some way. Like if she rented an Airbnb, I would totally cook everyone a meal. Because that's just how I am. Oh my God, $12 for avocado toast. I've talked, so my parents do have a restaurant up in Chicago, well, cafe, and I've talked to them a few times where it's just like, oh, the prices really are ridiculous up there. Final Fantasy Fan Fest. I do know Sam is trying to convince me for PAX South to do a food panel. I'm like, I don't know if I could talk in front of a bunch of people. Like doing it on stream, that's fine. I'm not looking at people. But actually organizing my thoughts into like a panel, I'm kind of spooked by the thought. I have until November to consider it. I am thinking of going to it this year because PAX South is a 3-hour drive, 4-hour drive. Ooh. So we went to PAX South once, the first year that they had it. All right, see, fellow Houstonian. Boop. We'll deal with the tortillas in a moment. I'm gonna finish this up. So I've. Actually, the smarter thing to do, Vicky, you have this camera that's conveniently over here. Stream Deck, please. Ta-da! This is easier. So I've mushed this. I'm gonna go ahead and add. So much easier. I'm gonna add this in. So yeah, that's why I was like, we went and I was like, this was fun. We spent most of our time in the board game section, because it was less hectic. I was like, I don't want to deal with a line. I don't want to deal. We did go to the Guild Wars 2 thing because I love Guild Wars 2. So that was a nice thing. They announced. It was Heart of Thorns then, right? Yeah, right, Jeff? Crazy? Yes, that's why I have a Heart of Thorns shirt. So that was like a must for me. But I don't see the people. I'm considering it. I guess the biggest thing is figuring out what to talk about for an hour. And I guess the harder part would be doing it for an hour by myself. I was starting to like think, okay, so I could talk about. Cause the tricky thing is, who knows if they'll let you do any cooking of any form? Doubt it. So it would be just talking about going like, well, what about food and video games? What games are really good at it? Talk about my process. Talk about other people. I'm like, I'm thinking about it. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a difference, and streaming has helped a bit. I've noticed at work, I've had an easier time like presenting things or voicing like my opinion a little more because I'm getting used to talking. Seeing a crowd, let's be real, there'll be 2 people in there. Jeff and Sam. That's it. It would be neat, because I do know there's a few other people, like in the fandom foodie community. I don't know if there's anyone else that would go to PAX South for it. Jeff, you could be on the panel too, and you could just talk about your experience of eating and cleaning. No, you're the mastermind of what we do, so you have knowledge behind all this. Get lime juice everywhere. I mean, the easiest thing I could do too with like the panel stuff, if I submit one, is go, oh yeah, I wrote the Fallout cookbook. Please let me in. So have that. I have some street cred, yo. But I know PAX South tickets did go on sale. I don't know if... I feel like PAX South doesn't sell out as quickly as like PAX Main. So... Why are limes so delicious? This is cilantro. This is, I guess, Fallout Street Cred. Shelter Cred. I have played Fallout Shelter. I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable mobile game. I'm pretty bad at playing mobile games in general, but I did enjoy that. Because I'm definitely in the mindset of like, do I want to do something on my phone, or I could do something else? Okay. I haven't even looked. Let's see. I'll look real quick. PAX South 2020. I think it's in January. The lovely time of the year down here in Texas where it's not super hot. Actually, they have all of them still. Like I said, PAX South doesn't... still doesn't sell as quickly. I do think it's funny that they picked San Antonio for the place over, say, Austin or... maybe... I'd say Dallas, but I don't want to drive back up to Dallas. At least San Antonio's closer. Done with driving to Dallas. Says me who's only done it. I'm not done driving. Jeff's gonna check me on that. Who's only been on the road twice. Dallas is a funny city. Let's see. So, with a guac, always taste. Oh. I haven't salted or peppered it, and I could tell. So, we're going to go ahead and season. There's a reason why a lot of times when I do recipes, there isn't a note about like exact measurements of salt and pepper. Just try it. Then see if it's delicious. If not, add more. Do it in batches. Yeah. The drive to Dallas is so boring. So boring. So flat. I guess it was nice the last time we went that we kind of split it up with a park in between. Oop. Close. Close. Salt, please. It's like talking about like food prices, going back a little bit. This weekend I went to Costco and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go pick up vanilla beans because that's the cheapest place to get vanilla beans. And I went and they didn't have vanilla beans. And I was extremely sad. Because I was able to get at Costco, I think a month ago. Must have been about a month ago. 5 vanilla beans for $15. That is super cheap. Madagascar last year got hit with a massive typhoon. And it kind of destroyed all the vanilla crops, and those take years to go up. I think on average you'll find vanilla beans currently in the range of $7 to $8 per, no, $6 to $9 per bean. And that's a, oh no, why so much? Now Costco doesn't have it, and I'm like, oh, why? So that's made. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and start dealing with the tortillas. Do I want to start dealing with the tortillas? Yes. Yes? Yes. I believe so. You can try them to finish it up or store them in the refrigerator. Beep, 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 beep. So I'm going to go ahead and take one. Aw, man. I made a mess. So I have this flat cast iron pan, nothing on it. I'm going to start heating this up. And that is what we're going to be cooking the tortillas on. These will cook pretty quick. Where's my past self? Why you do this to me? Get this. Ugh. Got it. Komala. Yes. That sounds correct. I probably am going to want to grab a little bit of... No, it's actually not sticking too bad. Again, recipe says floured surface. We want these to kind of be round. We want them to be decently thinned. But make sure not to rip them. I definitely bought that little thing for specifically this recipe. I've used it a few times now, so at least it's getting multiple uses. I have not tried a press. Ooh, that is a good call. That would make sense. Switcherino. So, we've thinned it out. I say how? With a rolling pin, fatten the dough until it is nearly paper thin. That is the opposite of paper thin. We could go thinner. I'm wondering if I should grab my other less. I think I'm gonna have to. The one that's all flat. Ooh, that. Oops. That makes sense. Nice electric griddle. That's definitely something that's a lot thinner. It is a very good idea. Yeah. So about a minute. This is where I have to be like, focus. Maybe should have rolled a bunch out before turning the heat on. That would have been, yes, if you're not comfortable with working at speeds, just roll them all out. Set them aside. Ooh. English muffins have been on my list of like to make for a while, and I just haven't done it. I don't know why. Almost. It's always a thing of time, right? Like, I've done a few things homemade, like pita breads. They're very good homemade. And then I just get lazy, and I'm like, ugh, I have to do all of these things. I don't have time to make them. And they're super easy to make. That's what I've used that for, pita breads. Remembered. We could go thinner on this one. Yeah, this one's a little thicker than we want it to be. Boop. Heck yeah. Oh, see, yeah. If I were in an area where buying like decent ones was very difficult, at that point I'd be like, yeah, I just need to make it. Again, living in Texas and being fortunate enough to be able to get what I need whenever. I'm like, where did I put the... There it is. Plop. Take another one of these. I would assume, is there much of like a Hispanic community up there? I guess is it are there grocery stores and stuff like that? Ah, there you go. That would be a bit of the difference then. I do think the one thing I am sad about with Texas is if you do look like for Mexican places, a lot of it down here is Tex-Mex. And I'm like, but I don't, no, please. Can't I just have Mexican? Yeah. With Houston being as large as it is, yeah, I have to like plan for going like to the Korean market and Japanese market. It's across town. It's a 45-minute drive, so it's like, okay, let me make sure I make time and I am able to get what I need. Here's my big list. Probably do that once a month. Oop. That's the Seed one. I feel like flour tortillas in general are a little more common, especially with Tex-Mex. Trying to roll these out. This is why I said flour, right? Whoop. Ooh, that sounds super good. cooked quicker. Da-da-dan. Da-da-dan. Just put them on. Because that's finally like heated up completely. So it's like, da-dan. No, I'm wishing I had a press. But it's like, but I didn't do it enough to like warrant having a press. Getting my arm workout too. Who would have guessed I would have been exercising before dinner? This is probably... Yeah, I need to start making sure I keep an eye on that. Boop, 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 boop. They're mostly staying round. Roundish. We're going with roundish. That's what matters. Close enough. Oh my gosh. Yesterday we did some Final Fantasy 14. And we were doing like some of the old trials and stuff that we skipped out on. Still thinking about, we did a Zurvan yesterday. And it got real tight there. At one point I was both the healer and the tank. Which I'm really hopeful that one's bird is the song that was in the main part of the fight, because that song's very good. Uh-oh. Gotta pay attention. Gotta pay attention. This is true. Get a big old circle thing. Put a bowl on. It's perfect. It's round. Actually, again, not doing too bad. It's definitely fun going into those fights and being like, I don't know what's happening. We're just gonna figure it out. Took a few treats to coerce Kanji, and now he's chill. He went into that after dinner snack. Ooh. Whoop, whoop. He's like, yeah, I got what I wanted. See, getting too far ahead with this and not paying attention to the flipping. Boop. Lots of tortillas. So yeah, this recipe gives about 12 tortillas. I got 12 and a half. Just kind of a baby one. That's there. Yes, Carlos, they are blue tortillas. Thank you, Opie. The food dye is optional. You don't have to make them as blue as I am. But we gotta match the game image. I do like that that's the part that everyone's just like, what are you doing? Yes, there actually is a blue variety of corn. I did use blue corn. See how it says azul? I did. I use that, but if you use just that, you're not going to get the strong neon-y blue that exists in the game. So. Get your azul corn. Maíz. I think a lot of times if you actually like get like blue corn tortilla chips and stuff, it's a little more on the purpley side. So it's a very deep blue. Yeah. Carlos, did your classes start up finally, or are you still just like getting ready for that? Because I know you moved into the place and stuff. Ooh, this one's very round. Oh my gosh, please. Pay attention. You gotta pay attention to the tortillas. Oh, nice. When do you actually start? When do you start up? Monday. Well, that should be fun. I squished it. There we go. Actually paying attention. Okay, there we go. Oh, did you get too hot, Kanj? Nope. My jalapeno. No. Save this spoon. Save that too. Carlos, you are one that is very good at holding conversations and explaining things. At least that's how the experience I've had with playing Final Fantasy with you. So you're going to do just fine in school. Fine. See, this is the home stretch. This is where I leave the tortillas on for too long. No, not really. Fine. It's fine. This one will be the hot one. So now I'm kind of like doing the tortillas and the meat roughly at the same time. Probably would have done a better job like prepping this a little more beforehand. Chopped. I'm gonna make sure that I'm going to cut this correctly. So I will say, like, this onion is actually like a tiny onion for here. I saw it today and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. For once, it's not one of those giant onions that I buy that I always ever see here. So it's always weird to be writing like the size of an onion that I'd recommend for a recipe. In Texas, they're huge. Yeah, Carlos, I think you'll be fine with a public speaking course. You're gonna do great. Just tell all your students if they want to practice talking in front of people to start streaming. It definitely helps. It's a good stepping stone. Now granted, the part of streaming is being able to react to chat and stuff, but you're still talking to people. Whew, I've left the tortilla on there too long. I already know. Not even gonna look at it. Yep. It's fine. That one has a face. Oh, that onion, it got me. Almost done with that. Heck yeah. See, you got it. Because it's interesting. It's a silent audience, but you still have to interact with them. Otherwise, you're boring. So in the background here, I'm going to start the meat because it needs to start getting kicking. Meat instructions. I'm going to put my onion in. Once all the tortillas are done, I'll swap places. So I'll kind of do this in the background. In the background. Boop. I think that's a good way to approach it. Because, yeah, I think most of the time when you think public speaking, you're thinking, oh, I have to go give a presentation. Or, oh, I have to go explain something to a large group. But general conversation in small groups is still public speaking in some way. Even general, like, small team meetings, you're still talking to a group of people. It's good to formulate what you're going to say. Thinking on the fly is probably one of the harder parts of it. But yeah. Wham. 4 more. Bam. Ooh. See, those are things I kind of wish maybe took classes in, because I was not good at public speaking. I'm still not good. I definitely struggle with getting the guts to be like, okay, here are my thoughts. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to say. But the only way you're going to get better at that is practice. Now, being in the actual workforce and stuff definitely has taught me that a bit. I could see that being a bit spooky. Alright, now we're going to bring this all back to the game. I want to make sure. A few things. So, our dear friend, this recipe is Ziggy's recipe. And one big thing he likes to use is a secret... What's the name of the sauce? Is it in here? Do they have the little items? Ziggy tends to make a lot of like fast food looking things, but he has this sauce that he really likes to use that is essentially a ketchup, a spicy ketchup. So one big thing that I do with this recipe is there is ketchup, and I also use the flavor of gochujang, which is the Korean chili paste, which has a little bit of funk to it. And I think it adds a nice flavor, kind of connecting it to that character again, being an undead chef. So, like, are things? Yes. Are things happening? Hello? Should probably keep these kind of covered so they're still hot on themselves. Whoop. There we go. So I know this definitely has measurements of the black pepper. There is a measurement for the salt, the cumin, chili powder, coriander. We're going to eyeball a lot of this. I think that's a good way to connect it all, because some speeches, like actual speeches, are going to be a good example to show your students. I do think film is another place to grab onto it, because sure, it's someone acting, but public speaking can be, it is a form of acting. It's trying to present your thoughts. A little less. But that'll definitely keep different interests that people have into that. So if they're more into like film in some way, that'll at least attract their attention. Alright, so I've let the onion soften. I've put the jalapenos and the garlic in here now. I'm going to let that go for another minute, and then we're going to spice it up, and then we're going to bring the meat in. Which again, for this recipe, it usually calls for beef. I've swapped it out for turkey today. And that's fine. Use your ground meat of choice. And that'll work. Where is my... Grab the gochujang while I'm in there. Two more. Hooray. Once those two are done, we'll swap them, and this is hot, Vicky. Wait, I tell myself that pan is hot. Leave that pan there. Don't goof. Don't you dare do it. Alright. It was a tablespoon of this. Of this. Look at me explaining myself. Tablespoon of the cumin. Now we got 2 tablespoons of the... This is me guessing now. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of that, and then 2 teaspoons of that. Chili powder. Use your preference of how spicy you want your chili powder. I'm a wimp. I've increased my tolerance of heat over the years, but I am still a wimp. I will always prefer very mild things that are strong in flavor, but I will give things a try. Put some salt. Pepper. Probably want to add a little more of the cumin and the chili powder. Just a little. Here it is in the background, working away. Okay, I only got one more. And honestly, with the weights or the amount of spices that are in there, feel free to add more. You want more? You want it to taste more like cumin? Add more cumin. You want it to taste... You want a little bit more coriander in there? Add more coriander. Ain't gonna hurt you. Ugh, that's never fun. I think Jeff's recently learned that there is a point of spicy where the body is just like, nah. No. Do not do. I see the recipe has the cayenne pepper. I'm actually going to skip on that today. Just kind of behave myself. So I'm adding the meat in. We're going to want to brown that some. And then we're going to add our tomato... or diced tomatoes and the... we might be able to switch soon. Ketchup and gochujang. If you can't find gochujang at your local grocery, I would recommend you'd order it from Amazon. If you have a Korean market of any form, the gochujang there is going to be spicier than the one you can find at a ordinary grocery store. I also think it tastes better. Gochujang, when you buy it, it doesn't have to be refrigerated, but once you open it, it does. Those are my notes about gochujang. It is a seasoning that it is a flavor I've started using, I think, within the last, year and change. So I'm going to turn this one off. Going to be smart. Use the glove and swap. Put that there. I'm going to go ahead and go squeeze, 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 squeeze. We're going to just kind of blend in the onions with the meat and kind of get the meat to be browned up some. Add all the spices and mix well. Add the beef and cook until the meat is no longer pink. Which we'll do. Stir in the gochujang, the ketchup, and the diced tomatoes. Reduce to a simmer and then cook until the liquid has reduced. Like, where is the can opener? I can open. Alright, and then when this is simmering, what we'll do is we'll start prepping. I have to cut some lettuce, cut some tomatoes for topping purposes. I can't remember if I bought shredded cheese or if I have to shred cheese for it, so we'll see. We'll see what needs to get done. Once we make a whole mess of the kitchen. Put that there. Kind of let that go for a bit. So gochujang is a bit thick. So what I am going to do before mixing that is I'm going to take this bowl that I had the garlic and stuff in, reduce that heat a little bit, and I'm going to mix the ketchup in it. What was in here? It's very thick paste. About a tablespoon? About a tablespoon. Please spin. There we go. Ketchup. Yep. Almost. There's still some spots. It'll be interesting to see the difference between flavor-wise the turkey and the beef. I guess I'm more curious if the consistency is going to be any different. Should be fine. So yeah, I'm just mixing my ketchup and my gochujang, which is my base for Ziggy's sauce that he uses in the game. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in the tomato gochujang mixture. In you go. And now I'm going to throw in the tomatoes. So the black on these tomatoes is because they're fire roasted tomatoes. It is what I had in the pantry. So I figured it was time to use them. Rinse. Big old pile of tomatoes. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to reduce that heat. And I'm going to let this, once it's all mixed up. So you can see there's not too much liquid, but we want to make sure that as this goes, that it'll loosen up. Thank you, Pally. And welcome back. I guess your drive was uneventful, hopefully. Ketchup open, ketchup back. So, do I have cheese, or did I use that for something else? I think I used it for something else. But I luckily have this large block of cheese. I need to get some. I'll do 1 tomato. What else am I looking for? I know I need the sour cream, and then next, I'll pull this out when I need to pull out the avocados. I'd say that's a win at that point. It's not, not the best, not horrendous. Bringing that heat up a little bit because it's not doing much there. Like, where's my cutting board? It's right here. So let me rinse this real quick. Alright, so that's cooking. We'll leave that. That's the more exciting looking scene. Tomatoes. Ooh, the lettuce. That's what I forgot to grab. Fingers crossed that my lettuce is also okay. It's, looks like lettuce. Looking a little sad, but that is okay. Oop. Just my tomato just doesn't want to get cut. I'm trying to think. So just chunks. Doesn't have to be fancy cutting. Make them as small or as big as you want. If you want to fancy them up a little bit, you can make it into a salsa. But we already have a lot of flavor going on in here. I think adding too much there could overpower it. I mean, you can see we have chunks of tomato here, so there's a lot already going on tomato-wise. Curious. Like, do I want to recreate the game? What? Nah. Because that definitely takes a little bit. Whew. Hello, lettuce. Your outside doesn't look too happy. Just gonna cut like a portion of this, and then I'm gonna rinse this out. I'm just trying to I can't remember what I used the cheese for. Oh man. Might have cut too big of a piece of lettuce, but that's fine. Yeah, that's a lot of lettuce. Alright. So as we've had it cooking, you can see like a decent amount of liquid has formed. So now we're just gonna let that cook and let it do its thing. Want it to reduce. Doesn't have to reduce too much. I say that, and then I look at my recipe and it says the complete opposite of what I said. That needs to reduce. I'm like trying to make a dry spot so I can shred the cheese and just not make more of a dish mess. And use these instead. Okay. Whoop. So I'm going to go ahead and shred this. This is I believe a sharp cheddar. This is to match the game's look. I believe that's why I had that kind of cheese. It has a little bit on the top. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of having like queso fresco on tacos because it's a nice mild cheese and it doesn't like overpower things. Cheddar's still fine. Tasty. I think it definitely mimics a little more of the standard fast food tacos that you will see. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of his foods tend to be ridiculous fast food items. Let's see if I can figure that out. If I could like pull up, if I can be smart. Okay, it's behaving itself. I should have these somewhere. Battle Chef. Yeah. Oh, I don't have his later stuff that got added. I guess I could show this one at least. So like this is one of Ziggy's recipes. That's showing up, right? I assume it is. Yeah, there it is on the back plate. It's one of the older images. I definitely had the benefit of when the game was coming out. I'm gonna remove that. Being able to kind of, since it's an indie team that did make the game, I was able to communicate with them a bit, and because I was really excited for the game when it launched on the Kickstarter. They were nice enough to send me earlier images of like a lot of the game assets and said, here, this is what we're making. These are the things we're going to be adding. Have fun. I was like, okay, I'll have fun. I should put this in a Ziploc bag. So I definitely like working with indie communities, just because they're easier to reach out to and say, hey, I like your game. Want me to cook food for it? I'll make it pretty. Alright, those are most of our toppings. Okay. A little later than expected, but no, that's not the right bowl. That's salsa from this weekend. That's not what I want. This also isn't what I want. I mentioned I cooked a lot this weekend, so there's like a bunch of bowls in there, and I can't even keep track of what I made today. Oh, we got the elusively flipped pooch in the background, just sitting there flipped. I'm gonna just sit here and eat cheese. Okay, we're almost. Every time I'm like scooping this around, I feel like stuff keeps flying out of the pan. It's like a mess. It wouldn't be me cooking in the kitchen unless everything was a mess. At this point, this is cooked. I wanted it to thicken more, but I'm going to up the temperature a little bit so that kind of finishes out a little quicker. Let me get some plates. And then I can start preparing tortillas up. So I got my tortillas. My nice blue tortillas. I'm gonna swap this around. We'll leave the meat in the little corner. Alright, so if you're making this and you want it to look like the game, the meat is the first part that is going to go on. And from a structural standpoint, that's fine. It is ground meat. I personally, when I'm actually doing my tacos, I like to put the sour cream on the bottom and the guac. But I'll do the sour cream only, and then we'll top with guac so we get some nice... How did I actually do the last photo? Past, Vicky, what did you do? I did put the meat at the bottom. Gonna kind of like sort of kind of start building a little bit without the meat. Where is my spoon vanished. I had a spoon at one point. There we go. I just needed to up the temperature a little bit. I think the turkey might be a little juicier than the ground beef would, so that's fine. Thank you. Oh, no worries. Hey. Chef Babylon, I understand it. I get the jumping around and having... I always like to go into streams and then I'll say, hey, what's up? And then it's like, oh, never mind. Can't do. Wow. Oh. There we go. Thank you, Jeff. That's another one. Oh boy, we're going strong now. Thank you, Jeff. So we're getting there. Almost done. So yeah, when I'm jumping around on like my fellow members, bone-in team members, I'm like, oh, hi, I'm here, hello. And then I'm like, I have to do 5 million other things. So I feel bad about that. I always would be like, I'm here, I'm lurking. But we're doing good. We're almost done, I think. Which is good because I'm getting very hungry. Wednesday with the silent T. Every day of the week starts with a T. We're gonna have tacos all day. I think we're good. That's right. I have to remember. Got this nice the second cam here that'll be a little easier to control it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some meat on. Try and remember to take a picture. Because I do so much photography for like my website, after the streams or when I'm cooking in general, I tend to forget to be like, oh, this is what I did on the stream. Oh no, I'm sorry, oh pie. I'm almost done. I'll finish soon so you don't have to worry about looking at me making food. Tacos are good every day. Every day of the week. So I'm going to go ahead. See, this is why I add sour cream at the bottom. Because then you can spread it easier. So I have blue corn flour, and I did add food dye because in the game it is much more neon than would traditionally, like the color you would get out of the blue corn. So I'm like, the food dye is optional if you want to look more like the game. If not, you're fine without it. Not necessary. Alright, so we got that in there, and now we need... So we have our roasted portobello, wow, it's getting late. Poblano pepper, tomatillo, and cilantro guac, which is tasty. And it is a much less chunkier guac, just kind of straight and to the point. Dee-dee-ding. Yes, it's very... where did I put it? All the way over here. So you'll usually, if you go, at least in my grocery store, get closer. What you should be, where you should be able to find it is with the rest of the cornmeal, in the baking section. That's typically where I've seen it. It does exist on Amazon. For a while I was worried because I went to one location. I have a few grocery stores that I could stop by, and I was like, oh, let me see if they have any, and they didn't. They didn't have the brand that I bought before. But then when I went to go get the meat today, I was like, you know what, let me go double check at this other grocery store. And they had it. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Jeff, are you going to want extra tomatoes on yours? I assume no. Yep, there's the no. So I'll put lettuce, lettuce, and the cheese, It is nice to work with. I've also done, the other time I've used it was for blue corn muffins. So instead of doing like regular cornbread with regular yellow cornmeal. I used that instead and it worked out well. I did that one backwards. Put the lettuce on it. And this one will get the tomatoes. Da-da-da-da. And I'll switch the camera. Yes. The tiramisu one I've made a few times, and that one's a good recipe. So let's see. I'm gonna switch back to the stove because no, it's already there. It's already the big one. Ta-da, ta-da. So we got everything in there. We got our meat and our guac and our sour cream. Remember to take a picture, Vicky. So this is the part that's a little weird for me because I'm like, oh, hold on. Didn't want to cough in everyone's face, and then Kanji would run away. Because I take pictures with my nice camera for with natural lighting, so of course I'm like, oh no. Tray looks nice. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So, my next cooking stream is already kind of lined up for what it is. Next week's cooking stream will be Guild Wars 2. The game is celebrating its 7th anniversary this week. I know I've done Guild Wars 2 a few times, but this one's kind of a bigger one. They announced Ascended Cooking, which is more recipes in the game, and I will be doing that. And I'm not going to... I was like, wait a second, there's a portobello burger recipe that I have. Maybe that one. But maybe I'll do a second food stream that week, and I'll buy some Beyond Meat. To see what... No, next week's Real Funky. Maybe in September I will. My website started because of Guild Wars 2. There was so much food in that game. But that's why I'm like, it's a game that I've played for so long, and it's celebrating its 7th year next week. And they announced the Ascended Cooking stuff, so I know they have a live stream later this week to talk about it, so I'm excited for that, to see what they have cooking up. I definitely have a few recipes coming out for that. Actually, I have one tomorrow coming out. It's an old recipe, not a Ascended Cooking one, but we'll see. We'll see what next week holds. Wink. But Opie, I like your idea. I think that'd be a good way to try out making stuff with the Beyond Meat. So maybe 2 weeks from now, I'll try doing a stream with that. Game. So you can play Guild Wars 2 for free. I forget what the restrictions are for. Oh, I think it's the base game. I think the base game's free, and it doesn't have a monthly fee. It's completely free. Expansions do cost money. They have Living World chapters that you'd have to buy. I enjoy the story a lot. You'd be a badass, large Norn woman. Love her. Love my character. But food. Jeff, there's food. If you would like some, it's there on the side. If you would like to grab some, because oh my goodness, it's so late. See, old lady Vicky usually eats. Old lady eats at around 5:36. So these streams definitely make it different. I wouldn't say it doesn't have the best. Oh, you're right. Thank you, husband. Oh no. Nix? Why did it do that? Jeff's gonna fix it. Now, sometimes Pixelated Cop is back tonight. Back with a vengeance. Why did it... Jeff can fix it. Nope, nope, Crow got it. No, you're fine. I'm assuming you tried putting a link in. Let's see. Yep. There we go. Thank you, Jeff, for putting that in. Next. No, it's dangerous. The police. I have to fix something. Can I do that from here? Right. No. One second. I'll do that after. Next, no more links. Whoop. It's gonna get you. It gets angry. It's just like, rawr. This is what you get. Okay, Jeff got it up. Oh, there you go. They have a nice little thing. You get 2 character slots. They do reduce how many bag slots you can have. Every character but the one class the profession that they unlocked. I mean, honestly, with the free game, there's so much content that you could get through it. You're fine, Nix. The bot's a little more angry, and I leave it a little more angry in general, just in case, because I mean, if we have jerks come by, I don't want them spamming links. We had some earlier, but yeah. Hey, there was a lot of game to it. Next week's the big Guild Wars 2 week for me. I know Tuesday Jeff and I will be going through and playing all of our favorite jumping puzzles, which the game I think has some of the best jumping mechanics in it compared to other MMOs. Final Fantasy. So we're going to be doing that because it's been a bit. There's no new living story, and I don't feel like doing like map completion stuff. So that's the way we'll celebrate it. And then Wednesday we will be doing. I haven't decided the food yet, but I'll announce that soon. No, Crow, look what you're doing. So yeah, I'm gonna ramp up. I'm gonna check if someone else is streaming. I assume people are. Yeah, we got a few options. $69 slots per account. Heck yeah. Game gets it. Let's see. I'm gonna send you. Oh, let me see what he's doing right now. Make sure he's not like done cooking. Might be. Yeah, I'm gonna send you all to my friend Taz. He's also part of the bone-in team. He looks like he's cooking some Japanese steamed pork buns. So go give him some love. Go cook. I will see you all tomorrow in the world of Minecraft. That's what we're doing. Streaming with my boys. So, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for the new subs, everyone. Love, Kanji enjoyed it. Now go send that same love off to Taz. Have a wonderful evening.